and global affairs commentator Calvin-Dems, and the Conservative activist Corinne Clark-Barron. Hello to you both. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on the programme this morning and staying up for us. We really do appreciate it. I suppose the big question this morning is that we are looking at a former president appearing in court this morning. Uncharted territory. Let's start ladies first. Corinne.
Yeah, it is unlike anything that we have ever seen before. I think a lot on the right will agree, and actually Quinnipiac shows most Americans agree that this is a politically motivated case against the former president, and that is unprecedented in itself. I think the interesting thing right now is that the actual charges of this case have been sealed. So everything that we can think about what he might have been charged with is pure speculation. I suspect that the politically motivated people behind this case want there to be the most speculation possible about what he could have been charged with. We know this stems from the investigation into Stormy Daniels, but we actually have no idea if the criminal charges have anything to do with that at all.
Whatever the details, Calvin, and we will hear about it when he is arraigned later on, it's a president who's in court. Your thoughts?
Well, I think that no matter what particular political affiliation one has here, it's not a proud day. This is not a good look for the United States to have a former president in the courtroom, but it can be a positive for our country as the world sees how justice is supposed to happen, how there are the grand jury, American citizens who voted to indict a private citizen, and that private citizen will have an opportunity during a trial to mount a defense, and then we'll have a verdict that'll be fair. So I think if we can do that, then we'll show the world how justice is supposed to work. But like I said, from a partisan angle, that really doesn't factor into my calculation because it's not a day to be overjoyed no matter who you support politics-wise.
Corinne, no cameras in court, though. Is that a good idea?
I think I'd have to agree with the judge on that decision. I think that this particular case has the potential to be overly politicized, as it already has been. I think what is more concerning than the no cameras in court is actually the suspected gag order that might be coming Trump's way. And if that happens, I think that that is an issue because you're not giving the president a chance to talk about the charges against him, which, again, we still don't know. And I think that would be a failure of the justice system.
What do you think, Calvin?
Well, I think that whether or not there's a gag order is really up to former President Trump. If he continues going forward as he has going behind him, there might be a gag order, because one thing that the judge isn't going to permit is, open insinuations of violence against the prosecutor. And I think he was even talking about the judge's wife or the prosecutor's wife. He is, of course, free to talk about himself, to defend himself in public. We know he's not shy in front of cameras, but whether or not there's a gag order depends on him, depends on if he takes that rhetoric to a place that threatens the fairness of any trial and interferes in any way.
Do you accept that, Corinne?
I think that the gag order has nothing to do with some fear of inciting violence and everything to do with Trump revealing the case against him and how fragile and weak that case actually will be.
Corinne, I wanted to ask you about whether you think that he's already said that he will run again, but, he doesn't have to. It's not locked in as yet. Looking at his latest polling, 48% of self-described Republicans say they want the former US president to be the party's presidential nominee. The next closest, Ron DeSantis from Florida, 19%. Do you think he should run?
Absolutely. And I think this case against him is more of a reason for him to run. It reminds a lot of us who supported Trump in 2016 and again in 2020. It reminds us why we did support him. And it is because a lot of this system that exists, this corrupt system, hates Trump. And a lot of Americans are fed up with that system. It reminds us that they don't like him because they don't like us and we don't like that corruption. I think that we'll see his polls continue to go up thanks to this case. And you'll also see a lot of unifying messages from all of the other potential candidates on the Republican side, because this is such an outrage, this politically motivated case. And you'd see even the second in line, Ron DeSantis, he knows he's not going to politically benefit from this taking out Trump. He has to stand in solidarity with Trump because Americans are outraged by this case against him.
Calvin, a lot of Republicans feel that it's if you'll forgive the pun, trumped-up charges. What sort of bumps in the road could that cause for the Democrats, with assuming it's Biden at the moment, in the run-up to the next election?
Well, I think purely from a partisan standpoint, as a Democrat, that Trump running would be the best. It would give the Democrats the best chance. I've often wondered, at what point members of the Republican Party, even those who may support Trump, are going to want to decide on picking somebody who could actually win. Who decides to go to 2024 with an indicted candidate, possibly one on trial? So, like I said, that what happens with the Republicans will depend on if that support stays with former President Trump. But I think that one of the things we're going to see is that this popularity, I think, is going to go down. I think that once people get over the fact that, there are allegations, this is a partisan, witch hunt, everything can't be a witch hunt, they're going to realize that this is a truly flawed candidate who, even if you like his policies, is not going to be able to focus on them. They're going to focus on him. So I think that's something that Republicans are going to have to consider, and Democrats are going to be able to sit back and watch this unfold.
Team, thanks for staying up late for us. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.